From the very beginning, their bond has been unbreakable. Rex reads Charlie's emotions like an open book, his stress, his sadness, his fear, even before Charlie himself understands it. Season 8 leans into this bond with more intensity than ever before. Rex becomes unusually alert around Charlie, sticking close to him, watching him with a kind of quiet worrying in his eyes. The show doesn't explain this right away, but it lets the audience feel it. There's a shift happening. Something unseen but strong. Something dangerous enough to shake even Rex's confidence. The cases in this season grow darker as well. Not just violent or clever, but personal. Almost too personal. Each one seems designed to test the emotional strength of the team, especially Charlie. Old memories resurface. Past mistakes echo. Threats become intimate instead of distant. The line between the cases and Charlie's private life begins to blur, creating an emotional pressure cooker that feels ready to explode. The writers use these moments slowly, as if tightening a rope around the characters one scene at a time. Then comes the subtle foreshadowing, those quiet, heartbreaking moments that fans might not catch on first watch. Charlie hesitating before entering a room. Rex pushing his head under Charlie's hand in silent comfort. A brief look in Charlie's eyes showing fear he tries to hide. These are not accidents. Season 8 is building towards something tragic. And every tiny detail adds to the growing sense of dread. The biggest hint comes from the growing emotional dependence between Charlie and Rex. Their scenes are softer, more intimate. Not romantic, but deeply human. Rex seems more protective, almost like he knows something bad is approaching. Charlie's voice becomes gentler when talking to Rex, as if keeping a heavy truth buried inside. The unspoken emotion makes every interaction feel heavier. Fans start to wonder, why does the show suddenly feel like a goodbye? There is also a shift in how the team reacts to both of them. Their teammates watch Charlie with quiet concern. They notice his distraction, his sleeplessness, his growing silence, but no one pushes too hard because they trust him. And that trust is exactly what sets up the emotional trap Season 8 is preparing. Charlie doesn't want anyone to worry. He doesn't want to burden the people he protects. And in doing so, he begins to fall deeper into whatever danger the season is quietly building around him. At the same time, Rex becomes the emotional mirror of the storyline. His reactions grow sharper during cases. His instincts become more aggressive when Charlie is threatened. The show frames Rex as if he is fighting against something invisible, something that could take Charlie away from him. The audience can feel it. The bond that has carried the show for so long is being pushed toward a breaking point. Season 8 uses this emotional tension to lay the foundation for the tragic twist fans have been whispering about. The story seems to be guiding Charlie and Rex toward a moment where their loyalty will be tested in a way it never has before. A moment where one of them might be forced to step into danger alone. A moment where the show might dare to break the hearts of fans with a twist they are not prepared for. The sadness of it is that the characters don't see it coming, but the audience does. Every episode feels like a countdown. Every quiet scene feels like a warning. And every emotional moment between Charlie and Rex feels like the calm before. The kind of heartbreak that stays with viewers long after the screen fades to black. Season 8 quietly prepares the audience for a moment that feels almost unthinkable. The possibility that Charlie Hudson and Rex may face a fate that could tear their partnership apart forever. The idea is never stated outright, but the show leaves enough emotional clues that fans can sense something heartbreaking building beneath the storyline. It's not sudden. It doesn't arrive with loud warnings. Instead, it grows slowly, like a shadow stretching across the season, reminding viewers that no bond, no matter how strong, is safe from tragedy when the story takes a darker turn. What makes the emotional shift so powerful is that the show doesn't rely on big scenes to create fear. It uses silence. It uses looks. It uses moments between Charlie and Rex that feel more fragile than they ever have before. The show gives us longer pauses, softer dialogue, and scenes where Rex watches Charlie with an uncertainty that audiences rarely see. Every interaction carries an unspoken question. Is something about to change forever? This is how the writers build tension without saying a word by letting viewers feel the quiet fear settling into the world of major crimes. The biggest emotional hit comes from the danger that begins to circle Charlie. It's the kind of danger that doesn't just threaten him physically, it tries to break him emotionally. Season 8 brings cases that cut deeper, villains who feel ruthless, and choices that put Charlie in situations where sacrifice becomes more than a possibility. It becomes a looming reality. The show begins to hint that Charlie may need to face something too big, too dangerous, or too personal for even Rex to protect him from. And that is where the fear begins to settle into fans' hearts. Yet the real emotional weight doesn't fall on Charlie alone. It falls on Rex. The bond between them is more than a partnership. It is the foundation of the entire show. So when Rex starts acting differently, more alert, more protective, more emotional, the audience knows something is wrong. Rex stops treating cases like routine missions. Instead, he behaves like he's watching over someone who might slip away from him at any moment. His instinctive reactions become sharper during confrontations. His body language becomes tense, and his eyes stay fixed on Charlie in moments where he used to relax. These tiny behavioral changes create a growing sense of dread that the show is preparing fans for a painful twist. This emotional fear reaches another level when the show begins exploring Rex's vulnerability. The writers start giving him moments alone, small scenes where Rex looks restless, confused, or unsettled. These scenes are rare in earlier seasons, but Season 8 uses them to suggest that Rex feels a storm he cannot stop. Even the team notices. They see Rex reacting to Charlie's stress. They see the way Rex refuses to leave Charlie's side, even when it's unnecessary. Their concern becomes another emotional layer that reminds viewers something tragic may be approaching. The heartbreaking idea that fans fear most is the possibility that Charlie may face a life-threatening situation, one that forces Rex into a moment of helplessness. The show hints at scenarios where Rex cannot reach Charlie in time, where he must watch danger unfold, or where he is forced to act alone without his partner guiding him. These possibilities, even when only suggested quietly, hit with incredible force. Because the emotional core of Hudson and Rex has always been built on the unbreakable connection between a man and his dog. The thought of that bond being tested by tragedy is enough to shake the audience long before anything happens on screen. At the same time, the show also teases another direction, one where Rex himself may be placed in danger. Season 8 presents high-risk cases, explosive confrontations, and moments where Rex is pushed to the front line more than usual. While he has always been brave, this season feels different. The stakes feel heavier, the risks feel more real, and the reactions from Charlie make it clear that losing Rex is a fear he carries deeply. When the show lets Charlie's voice break or his expression harden as he holds Rex close, the audience feels the emotional warning. Something precious is being protected because something terrible could happen. The tragic twist the season hints at may not be a death, though fans fear that possibility the most. The tragedy could be emotional separation, injury, trauma, or a forced distance that neither Charlie nor Rex chooses. Sometimes heartbreak doesn't come from losing someone forever. It comes from watching a bond change in ways you can't control. Season 8 seems to be playing with this idea, making fans feel as if the partnership they love may face a painful transformation. And that is the true power of this season's storytelling. It doesn't need to show tragedy to make viewers feel it. It plants the fear slowly, letting the audience experience every moment of closeness between Charlie and Rex as if it could be the last. The emotional tension becomes a quiet storm that hangs over every episode, turning even the simplest scenes into something deeper, something heavier, something unforgettable. Season 8 isn't just telling a story, it's preparing fans for one. A story where love, loyalty, danger, and heartbreak collide. A story that challenges the strongest bond in the series. And a story that will leave fans holding their breath until the final moment, praying that the tragic fate they fear never becomes real. A bulletin board in the hallway holds flyers from past performances, wrinkled edges, faded colors, corners fixed with tape. Each flyer tells a story of people who found a piece of themselves on that stage. One flyer flutters slightly as if stirred by an unseen memory. The air shifts, reminding the person standing nearby of what this place once meant to them and what it still could mean. The hand grazes the edge of the fluttering paper, not with hesitation but with a deep sense of connection. The light in the hallway grows warmer as the sun dips lower outside. Shadows stretch across the wooden floor, blending the present with the past. There is something unmistakable in the era and approaching intersection of two very different paths. A decision in a tall office building. A dream stirred awake in a quiet rehearsal room. Two worlds moving without seeing each other, yet linked by the very thing they think they left behind. In the quiet stillness of both places, a shared truth rises like a whisper. The choices made today will pull the stories back toward each other, whether they are ready or not. The city doesn't know it yet, but something long separated is beginning to move together once more. And somewhere deep inside, hearts that try to move on can already feel the shift. Evening begins to settle over Los Angeles with a slow, golden fade, covering the city in a warm glow that feels both gentle and charged. The streets hum with steady movement, but beneath the surface, something far quieter is unfolding, something that lives in the space between memory and possibility. At the edge of the city, a balcony overlooks the skyline, its railing cool from the evening air. The lights below sparkle like scattered stars, each one flickering with its own story. But tonight, the balcony holds a story waiting to be written again. A soft breeze pushes through the open curtains, making them sway like slow-moving waves. Inside the dim room, silence holds the air thick, thoughtful, almost expectant. A shadow moves into the soft light, steady and slow, as though unsure whether stepping forward will open a door or close one forever. The silhouette pauses near the balcony threshold, hands lingering on the frame as if searching for the courage to step through. There is no face shown, no expression revealed, but the posture speaks louder than any words could. It carries the weight of time, the quiet ache of choices made long ago, and the sudden rush of a feeling resurfacing after years of pretending it was gone. Across the balcony, another figure moves into the frame, this one softer in presence, but filled with a different kind of strength. Their steps are light yet grounded, like someone who has walked through storms and learned how to stand again. The evening glow outlines their form, turning them into a silhouette against the shining horizon. For a moment, neither figure moves closer. They simply breathe the same air, sharing the same quiet space where two distant lives have unexpectedly aligned once more. The wind carries a faint hint of perfume, a scent familiar enough to stir a memory deep in the mind of the other figure. The kind of memory that never truly fades, even when time tries its best to bury it. Though their faces remain unseen, the shift in the air says everything. The subtle tension, the unspoken recognition, the undeniable pull that time could slow but never erase. It feels as though the universe has paused just long enough for two stories to remember each other. Down in the streets, a car horn echoes briefly, pulling the city along its endless motion. But here, on this balcony, the world feels still. The second figure steps closer, stopping just within reach of the other's shadow. Hands twitch slightly, as if caught between reaching out and holding back. The gap between them is small, yet it holds years of untold words, unfinished thoughts, and feelings that were never fully allowed to bloom or fade. The tension is soft but powerful, carrying the sense that something long separated is finally coming home. Inside the room behind them, a phone begins to vibrate on a table, its screen lighting up with an unknown number. The sound is faint, almost ignorable, but it creates an echo in the quiet space, an echo that hints at the world outside this moment, at responsibilities, at the life each has built far away from this balcony. But neither figure turns to answer it. Instead, they remain there, suspended in a moment where past and present are pulling at the same thread. A soft exhale breaks the silence, gentle, unsure, but honest. It carries the weight of a truth finally surfacing. The second figure moves their hand just slightly, not fully reaching out, but close enough that the space between their fingertips feels alive. The first figure shifts as well, their stance loosening, as though acknowledging that what brought them here wasn't chance but something far deeper. The city lights flicker against the balcony railing, reflecting small glimmers across the shadows. For the first time in years, their paths are close enough to touch. Close enough for the past to breathe again. Close enough that the story once thought finished begins to write its next lines quietly, slowly, and filled with the promise that some connections don't fade. They wait. Night spreads itself gently across the city, turning skyscraper windows into glowing patterns and quiet neighborhoods into soft pockets of shadow. Los Angeles feels different under the night sky, slower, deeper, more honest. The noise of the day fades into a low hum, leaving room for the kind of thoughts people usually try to ignore. Somewhere in the middle of this calm darkness, two separate lives begin to move in quiet circles, unknowingly drawing closer to the moment that will shift everything. Across the city, a limousine door closes with a muted thud, echoing briefly through the quiet street. The polished vehicle reflects streetlights in long streaks as it pulls away, but the moment inside the car lingers in the air. A hand rests on a ring placed gently on the seat, the metal catching faint hints of light as the vehicle moves. The ring carries years of promises, some kept, some forgotten, some left hanging in the space between what was said and what was meant. The fingers brush over it with a softness that reveals more conflict than comfort. Sometimes the body remembers what the heart tries to deny. Inside a penthouse suite high above the city, the glow of candlelight flickers across a neatly arranged table holding untouched champagne glasses. The bubbles rise and fall in silent celebration, though no one is celebrating. The room is beautifully set, yet strangely empty, as if someone tried to prepare a perfect moment but forgot the part where the moment actually matters. Curtains move with the breeze, brushing against the quiet like a whisper. The stillness in the room feels heavy, filled with the weight of a realization that has been growing quietly. Success can fill a home, but not a heart. Meanwhile, in a warm-lit studio surrounded by mirrors and old wooden floors, music drifts through the space like a memory reborn. Soft, slow, familiar. A figure moves with gentle steps, the rhythm shaping each motion with a mix of hesitation and longing. The dance is not polished or perfect, it is honest. It carries the echo of dreams once followed freely and later set aside for the sake of reality. The reflection in the mirror doesn't show the face, only the silhouette. But the posture reveals everything. A person caught between independence and the pull of something they never fully let go of. In the hallway outside the studio, a red coat hangs on a simple hook, swaying slightly every time the air shifts. It stands out against the muted walls like a memory refusing to fade. That coat was once a symbol of courage, rebellion, and a heart unafraid to love without knowing the ending. Now it hangs quietly, as if waiting to be chosen again, not as a costume from the past, but as part of a story still being written, back in the penthouse. The champagne glasses catch the light from the city as the phone on the table begins to vibrate. The soft light of the screen breaks the darkness, revealing an incoming call with no name attached, just a number that feels strangely familiar. The vibration stops, then starts again, each pulse echoing like a heartbeat hesitating before it chooses a direction. But the call goes unanswered. The moment is too fragile, too full of things that can't be said over a phone. A brief silence spreads across the city, as if the world itself is taking a long, steady breath. These two lives, different, distant, yet bound by something powerful, feel the shift without knowing why. Like a thread tugging gently against their hearts, pulling them toward a place where their stories might find each other again. The night deepens, and with it, a sense of something rising, something long overdue. In that quiet, a truth floats unspoken through the city. Some loves don't disappear. They simply wait for the right moment to return. And tonight, the moment begins to take shape slowly, softly, as the world around them prepares for the first spark of a reunion neither expected, but both have carried inside them all along.